So according to the technology that was brought from Sirius, Orion, and other systems, they created here the machines to do that connection. So those machines at first were stones, then were temples, and then were pyramids. And then we disconnected. We disconnected and returned to the stones. So what this civilization did here, in this stage of the history, before it starts the 12,000 years of this crazy history we have, according to the information of the people from the stars, they created the network to go within and outside their reality. And they had it within as a human and around the world as a planet. They call it the planetary grid, or the flower of life and the cubes around the world. Every spot, if you take the flower of life and you put it in such a way around the planet, around the globe, you will find special spots, geologically and energetically, where the consciousness of the planet flows. There are many, many, many spots, even in every atom. But the most bigger ones are like 92 around the planet. And it's composed by many patterns of energy and many patterns of geometry that contains a sphere, which is the Pentakis dodecahedron. And to see it clear, is a soccer ball. So that geometry contains the consciousness and the thinking of the planet. So the ancient civilizations went to those places, and by changing their own frequency, they could talk to the planet and talk to every civilization around the world. That was the first Wi-Fi. Yeah. So, but the only way you can do it, that you could get into this network, was by being very centered in yourself. So they prepare every citizen of every civilization to be centered in the own being. So by doing that, they were sure that the whole civilization and the whole planet were thinking the same thing, were thinking in creative ways, and they were allowed to be informed about everything that the planet was needing or other civilizations were needing. According to the structure of the universe, there were 12 guardians of this knowledge of the 12 phases of the dodecahedron. They call it the Dasnai, the families. So these families were in charge of taking care of the whole planet. But suddenly, one or two of those families wanted to take care of everyone. Not because they were bad people, but because they wanted to be the best one. So they screwed up. Why? Because this planet is special, because we are all different. And every phase of the planet sees into a different perspective of the universe. So if just one of these phases take care of all of them, the perspectives disappear. So we left the system of the matter, which is the matrix, to the pattern. We call that mom and dad. Matrix is the network of everything. And the pattern is the ways in which we move around this. So at the moment, just one of these spots told to the other ones how to move around. So we stop following the matrix and start following the pattern. So from that moment, we start to follow a paternalistic system instead of the matriarchal system. So at the moment of Atlantis and all the civilizations that they created, only women were able to be in the government, because they were thinking of people as their own family. So they were like many mothers taking care of many sons. But this system is one father telling to every son what to do in their lives. We must remember, only one doesn't work, just the two together. That's why in the government, women were the rule ones, but the men were the assistants. At the moment, two of these families took the power and they started a war in between them. So one won the war. The whole network of the planet started to follow the pattern. So from that moment, every human is following unconscious patterns in which we are not able to go out from. So from that moment, we used to hear the sentences like, under my roof, I rule. This is my rule, like the fathers to the sons. And all these kind of things like only the hard work is the way to earn your life. I don't know, this kind of weird stuff. Because only one person was in charge of everyone. So the rest of the people didn't care about ruling themselves. So they start to follow them. And when that happened, every human in the planet start to lose their own connection and start to follow others. It's not something bad, because naturally we used to go in manadas? Crowds, like groups. Yeah, in groups. Yeah. So because we are like animals, mammals, so we need the family and someone to guide us. But the problem about someone guiding us is because we are guided by the main emotion of our survivor energy, which is fear. Survivor or fear. Fear is the main tool that brought us here. Fear is very good. It's a really good thing if you think about it. But just for people that wants to survive. Once you are aware that life is beyond death, you don't need to fear anymore. So that's why when people start to not fear anymore, there is someone that creates fear, so we need to survive again, and we need someone to guide us towards that reality. So this pattern of guidance around the planet, around our civilization, is going over here. And that's because we are, again, reconnecting with the network. So we can decide if we choose to have fear or not, because all the information is there available for us right now. The problem is that we are still in the pattern of Atlantis. 12,000 of years of conditioning of this civilization. Many of them destroyed some pyramids, destroyed their own villages, destroyed the temples, which for us now are, for the past, is what for today, for us, are the servers, the internet servers. The pyramids and the temples were built for people to prepare themselves to be one, to be the self again, and the pyramids were like portals of frequency to get into the multidimensional universe. So people in the past lives, they used to be prepared since the very moment they were born on this culture of being connected with the self. So that's why it's very difficult for us right now to work on a new civilization, on a new reality, or change the reality just by changing right now. We have to think about helping change the childhood. So there was a change of frequency in the 87, the year 1987, August. I think like it's been 30 years last week or a few days ago from that moment of changing frequency. So what it means that the generations that has less than 30 years came as souls prepared by the frequency to cut with all the legacy of these 12,000 years. They used to call them the indigo childs. But it was not because of the souls or they were special. It's because the planet was vibrating in indigo frequency. So most of us, has the energy or the frequency that says we don't want to follow anymore this system. And it's funny when you hear people, old people or adult people saying this youth is lost. But it's not lost, it's another path. So in order to change from the very beginning, most of the things that were rolling this planet the past 12,000 years, you have to change everything. And the first thing you have to change is your relation with the planet. That's why these new generations needs a new frequency to push from the very deep part of the planet everything that the other generations, by thinking too much, left behind. We have the chakras. Yeah, and usually in this civilization, this past times in like 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, we start to believe that from here to below it was sin, and from here there is heaven. So we have to be connected with the heart, the mind, the voice, but don't show anything below. So energetically, what the ancient civilizations, what the ancient people, adult people, did in the past lives was to build a represa, like a no, like where the water is in the other side of this wall. Huh? The dam. That. Yeah, they built a dam in history. So they have a lot of water here, a dam here, and a small stream here. Remember that this chakra is fed with this chakra here. So as much spiritual I became, that I don't want to talk about this. Yeah. So much energy accumulates here through time. So we said, okay, to enlighten ourselves, we need music. We need frequency, which we call music, to enlighten ourselves. Remember about frequency, energy, and matter. So in order to go up, we translate that frequency into classical music, into choral, all this angel chantings. And energetically, in this past 20 years, there was people coming and like the Berlin Wall, they were, kicking it up. And all this force come down and destroy everything up, which we used to call unconscious. And all the classical music became reggaeton. Because all the sexual energy is the first one receiving this kind of... So all the sexuality in this age is very important because 3,000 years without talking about it. And remember, the only way you can connect energetically one point with other is by positive and negative. That's sexuality, indeed. So if we were denying many things about sexuality and creation and freedom and being myself, which is all these chakras, sexuality, expression, being myself, we took this all away. So now we are selfish, we create whatever, or we don't do anything, and they think in sex all the time. So also, a lot of what we call love here, it became hate here because of the energy going through so hard. So what I'm saying here, that maybe today we complain about the reality we have in our countries, the presidents, the politics, the economists, and all that. But all that is the result of 12,000 years of we living and doing nothing about that. And we did a lot of job by the shape. Shapes has changed a lot, from feudalism to monarchy, republic, democracy, and all these technology advances. We have freedom of speech. We have a lot of things in many parts of the planet, and that's evolved. That's evolution. But we don't have the main evolution, which is the conscience of the self. What we have now as a civilization is the same like bringing a lot of monkeys to the university. People with knowledge, but no wisdom. So now in the next stage of this civilization, we have to await the wisdom. So for that, we have to remember that the countries and the cultures are like the organs of this planet. The trees and humans, we are the neurons of this planet. That the cultures are the language in which this planet thinks. That every culture, every language, every religion that exists are the different thoughts and way of thinking of this planet. So when we start to think about not we are living on a planet, but we are the planet, we have to start to think that we can't live all the same and we can't think just in one thing. And that the civilization structure we have is the reflection or the fractal of our own biology. So when we talk about civilization, we have to think about a diseased body, an ill body. And how do you treat an ill body? Do you blame him? Do you hit the person who is ill? This is the reality we have today is the only reality that we know. So we expect of it something that is not going to happen because we have to change before. These are the chakras of our civilization. Agriculture is the first one. Culture, technology, economy, education, politics, and philosophy. Yeah? Okay, so this is the body of our being, the being we all share. So in order to change the reality we have now, why we have to change the reality we have now? Because the planet is willing to change it right now. And the reason you see that is because every country is complaining about the reality that we all are living as humanity. And that means in the unconscious that something is happening and that everyone wants to change something, but they don't know what or where to start, which is more difficult. Because we have to think that we only have like 150 years, mostly in South America, here a little bit longer, of republics. We left the kingdoms, we left, well, some countries, we left some traditions of the past, but we are still at the same pattern. There's no a king, but there's a president. It's almost the same. And to choose who to rule is not to be free. But the most difficult part of it is, how do I choose in my life? Nobody taught me that in school. We learn about emotions and about how to deal with it when we are older and we are almost dying, yeah. But if in the first 7 years of our lives, someone teaches about how to feel, about how to deal with emotions I feel, how to treat with others, how to be involved with others in a different way, so I will have the tools to go through all my life without thinking about emotions anymore, just feeling it and dealing with it. That's the difference between education and teaching. Education means to bring out what I have within. Teaching is giving others what I believe is the truth, and they just take it. So today, well, since the 18th century with the Industrial Revolution and all that, we created the teaching, not education. Yeah. So one of the main things that we have to change in our lives, in our reality, is how we learn and the education that we have with our kids and with the future generations. The throat chakra is the education, so it's express myself. So if we want to build a new world, we don't have to ask to scientific people because they think according to the past. We have to ask to the kids who are going to live the future. And to cut with this pattern, one of the things we have to do in our homes is to get a deal of everything. So debate, talk, much more, not rules. So something that we have to know is that in the universe, something became a law just if every part of the universe hold the law. So if everyone agrees or disagrees, they change a law. And maybe the neighbor in the other part, they disagree with this one, so they create a new law, a different one. But it doesn't have to condition it this one. That's the fractal and the responsibility of each one. So when you have to change something or to put some rule at home, you have to ask even the youngest one, what do you think about this? Because you only became conscious when you have the opportunity to create the law by yourself. Otherwise, you have a pattern which we call slavery in life. So the political problems we have with all these weird presidents and all these kind of weird people right now, it's not because some bad people are trying to rule us all. It's because they weren't educated, and the people who is ruled neither. So it's like that every civilization has the government that deserves. So if the population change the way they think, so everything will change around. Also, we cannot blame economy about that. Economy is for civilization what for us is the blood and emotions. Because the economy represents the heart chakra of the society, which is weird to accept. But it's the heart chakra because the bank, which is the heart, never keeps the money. It flows all the time and gives to every part of the body what the body needs. And no, all the parts take the same quantity. So it's not communism and it's not capitalism. It's biology. Technology is what represents us, what connects us all. It could be just a hammer or a computer. So, but it's what the tools we have to create. So philosophy here is the concept that helps us to understand the whole thing, like the fifth dimension. So if we change our philosophy, and if we change what we eat, we change the whole pattern. What do I mean about agriculture and changing what we eat? Because all this is biology, all this is the body. And what gives life to the body is what we have in the blood. And the blood comes from what we eat. So we are what we eat. So if we change the way we eat, we change the way we think. Just by something simple. If we want to be enlightened, so we need more light. And what has more light? Photosynthesis. Yeah, which is seeds, fruits, vegetables. So if we want to enlighten our DNA, we have to eat more salads. And or if we want to anchor ourselves because we are too flying away, we need more heavy stuff like blood, like other animals or whatever. So if everything what we are is in the DNA, and by changing what we eat, we change the blood, so we change the patterns in the DNA. So that's changing our culture. Because the culture is not just in the head, it's in the DNA because of our ancestors. But for sure, when we do this change, we will face our ancestors blaming ourselves because of that changing. Because we will change their culture and their technology, their tools. For example, what I said before, you have to work hard to get your life done. And that's not true. That's some true, but it's not the real truth. It's just a belief. A tree eats and lives and they don't work. Only the civilization, mostly from Europe, work because you had so tiny lands to protect that the only way you have to survive it was by working and growing from a very tiny piece of land. So European people brought the jobs to South America, for example, where we had everything there. We wanted something and that's it, eating, that's it. So many land that if we don't like someone, we just go away and that's it. So then you brought the job, no, we have to work, to increase, and that's it. So that's why in South America working is like hell. And that's why we all love socialism. Because we don't want to work, we have everything. So the thing is that this is a cultural thing that came from what we eat. Our society came from what we eat and the land we have. That's why it's important to see what we eat and where we live in order to understand what energy we have to offer to the world. And to connect with that energy and to discover what is our purpose as a nation or culture. And when I do that, I start to change myself, recognizing that all this is a creation that we all in between created, but we can change it too from within. So in the ancient civilizations, when we were at this point, we were taught how to talk with the planet through ourselves. Everyone in the planet has to know about this main reality that we are frequency, energy, and matter. And we usually, in the past, choose our names about this trinity. Like everyone has 3 letters name, so or 9 according to the level of the people. So we had this pattern, but in the past, in the past civilization, they used to teach to the youngest one that the most important thing to change reality is changing what you express from that reality yourself. And if you want to change all this shape, there is only one way you can express and feel everything around you, which is sound and chanting. The whole universe is within us here, in the throat. But there's only one way you can express from the throat the whole truth. And they taught that the only way is with the feet. Sing with your feet, they used to say. Why? Because in order to channel the power of the universe, you have to be very well grounded. So when you do that, you start to create the pattern of the spiral around you from below to above and backwards. Otherwise, sorry, the energy of the planet would push you and you can fall. So this main core, what they said is, so if you want to change the whole shape, you have to sing to complete every part of the universe around and within you. In 8 realities plus 1. Remember the cube? So they said there are 9 sounds in the universe that were born from 3 sounds that holds the whole reality and that transform the reality. So to feel the energy of the planet and to feel the energy of heaven and to connect them all and to understand what this land is telling me to do, we have to be that portal of sound. So these sounds are vowels, and these vowels are 9, and we have 3 from where they were born, which are breathing. Yeah. So breathe, and when you breathe, then 4 sounds start to appear, which are these ones. So, and then from there it comes a, e, i, y, u, o, u, wo. So, and then go back to this and this. It's like a cycle. Yeah, it's a cycle like this. So, if you say it in just one word, it will sound om. For sure, you know that. It's yeah. They are all the levels of frequency. Yeah, from this here is the highest. Yeah, is the wave. So all together is Om. That's why Om is the first sound. Yeah? But this is all the things that you say when you say Om. Yeah? It's good to know. So what they said is, by chanting this all the time by yourself, you are chanting to every history of your blood, your soul, and your spirit. And this centers you in the eternal present. So the eternal present, remember, is to change past, present, and future at the same moment. But to do this, you have to have empty mind. The only way the universe created everything was from a dream in a white mind. So this tool is for our body, as for our lands and civilization. So Atlantic civilization used to work with sound to do everything. Have you heard how the pyramids were built? They weren't aliens, not even humans, both of them. But the main tool they have was sound. By chanting, by frequency, by some tools that make higher frequency, they were able to move the stones, which were very heavy, but with frequency, high frequency, they make it like 50 pounds or something like that. That's why there are 2 things that we naturally used to do when we arrive to a temple, a stone circle, or a pyramid. Silence or chanting. There is something within that impulses us to sing somehow. It's the stones resounding with ourselves, so we need to answer. Have you ever been in Egypt? Have you met the pyramids from inside and outside? Have you seen any hieroglyphics? Not really? And the pyramids? There's nothing inside. In the temples, yes, but not the pyramid, not the Sphinx. They are just plain stone, like in Peru, like in many other cultures. This used to happen because the knowledge in the ancient civilizations, they used to say, the only way you can know that someone has the wisdom to achieve the information is if they are able to listen to stones, not to read. That's why it's so important to sit down and feel before chanting or whatever, just resounding with the place. So that's the only way that the place would know that you are able to listen or not. So why do I explain that? Because now in this, the Earth is trying to reconnect itself, and we have to use again these tools that civilization left us. So it doesn't mean that we should only go to pyramids, because we have natural pyramids, which are the mountains, and natural caves, which are the streams and waterfalls and caves. And also some places around the world, like the Eiffel Tower, places very well known by everyone, that if you change or switch the energy of that place, you're changing the image inside every people around the world. So we have 2 ways to change that reality. One is meditation, and the other one is activation. The meditation goes within, to change within with the tools from outside. Activation is bring what I have within to change the outside, but always with intention for the best good for everyone. And one of the things that you should know too is that the planet is a live being. So when you touch or activate some places, then the places start to move. We usually believe that everything is good if everything is just quiet. But for the universe, quiet is not such a good thing. Okay. So for example, when you receive a massage, you usually will hear some places doing like truck, and you release the energy. We call that earthquakes, but we don't like earthquakes for somehow. I think they are very funny and emotional. It remembers you that the earth is alive. And also, when you create a portal of energy from up to below, so the energy could go through, what you usually see is a lightning. So the storms are also a way of seeing that what you are doing is working. So always around, when you do energetical work around the planet, you will see that the planet is responding, is answering with this kind of manifestations in nature. So I said that we had, or I myself had, 2 missions to do, which is remember and remember. One, remember, is to bring information to share, and the other one is to put the members together. And one of these things is, if I couldn't remember what happened here, I had no idea what to connect now, and how to do it by sound. So the tool that we have now, the people that is awakening in this process of consciousness, we have the tool to switch our way of thinking, how we change the stuff, and instead of beginning by the shape, start with the frequency. But not only to change the whole world, but to change your own world. One of the things we must see about this is that this is to change myself and amplify the energy and the resounding pattern around me. So it means that we don't have to go to help other people if they didn't ask for it. The process is, if I change, the frequency I expose from my wellness will make the others resound and change too. So first I have to do the change for me, and while I do that, I will see how the other people change around. Because if I want to help other people to be aware of this, and I call them, no, you have to do this and this, maybe we are interrupting their own process of evolution. So it's important that whatever you do for the planet, you're not doing it for the civilization or the planet. You're doing it because it's what you want to do, what you feel is good for your own. And if it helps others, welcome. So, about this, I used to well, I don't have it here to show it, but I did a map with all these spots where the main consciousness of the planet goes through. And there are 12 spots around the world, held by 60 spots, which are 72. Remember the football, the soccer ball? Yeah. Well, you have 12 of this pentagons. So you have 12 in the center, around, and 5 around each. So it's 60 plus 12. 72 knots that goes out the planet and 72 under. How much is it? 144. Did you hear about that number? Yeah, the number. Critical mass. Yeah, 144,000 people that have to be in a certain frequency to change the whole reality. But it's not about an amount of people. It's about a frequency in which we have to be connected. Yeah, the frequency is a musical note, which vibrates 144 times. I don't know in English how it is, but it's the re. So if we vibrate with this in 144 times, singing this in every spot of these 72 places in the planet, you change the frequency of the whole planet. So that's the responsibility of changing our own pattern of life here in this planet and making this planet become what it's supposed to be, which is a portal in between dimensions. Every human is a portal by itself. And for sure, most of you, or a few of you here, maybe years ago or days ago, start to hear voices, or start to dream weird stuff, or remember past lives, or have visions of the future. For sure, something weird has happened, otherwise you are not here. So that happened because the planet is like a big radio for the whole universe. And you can, if you go outside the planet, you can see all these emissions from the radio, like this, and many, many messages and many people talking. And suddenly when the planets start to connect with themselves, a lot of us, which are the neurons, start to listen what she's thinking. So that's why there's even more people channeling, remembering, hearing stuff, because it's the planet synchronizing a new wave in the radio that we all start to hear. And usually you will see a lot of people, if you talk with spiritual people, you will see that they are like, I don't know, 10,000 Cleopatras or something like that. Because, and suddenly I said, I was Cleopatra in a past life. And they said, no, it was me. No. So that's something that used to happen when we start to remember the memory of the planet. Because we don't remember exactly what we have lived as individuals, we start to listen and remembering the planet's history. So I have this friend in the United States that said once, I was like having a memory in which I saw this beautiful lady with a dress like this, like, you know, she was like a feudal or a princess, and he was like, wow, I was beautiful, he said. And suddenly a voice said, look, where are you? And suddenly all the image went to old lady cleaning the window. And he was her. But he was so, you know, surprised. It was such an amazing image of that queen, you know, that he thought it was her. So that's why everything you channel, everything you remember, everything you dream, don't take it personally. Yeah, it's just you're listening to different radios all the time, but it's not your radio. Yeah. So I just take note of that and leave it until it has some sense. So we are going in this time in which a lot of people will get crazy because of that. They will start seeing stuff, the other realities, remembering stuff. So what this job is about is to help people to be in the same, to prepare the frequency of everyone in the planet. So when people start to remember, they could be allowed to get to that information without getting crazy. And talking about this, there will be many changes from the next month to the next 50 years, according to our society. Because of course we have the new Atlantis, which is the United States. And that country, for the good of everyone, has to control everyone. So, so this system is the reflection of what happened here. So what we have to do is to think about, do we want to repeat the history or we want to change it? So, so in order to do that, we have to start changing the frequency of ourselves to change the frequency of the whole planet. So I wanted to give you some few tools that you could write down. They are very easy to start changing from within. They are very easy. So that's why they are so difficult. That's the joke of the universe. There are 3 tools for ourselves to get better frequency. The first one, as I said, change what we eat. But don't change it from your mind. Ask your body what you need. Your mind doesn't eat. So she has no idea what to eat, but the body does. Normally, we have to eat food mixing the 7 colors of the rainbow. Yeah, so we have plenty energy for every chakra, and we feed every one of them. Also, the vegetables that have the shapes of the glands of these chakras. Yeah, so analyze what shapes are there, and then eat what you need or the problems you have, so you can change it there. Also, you would say, I don't know here, but everywhere they're saying, but Monsanto has all this chemical stuff in the food and GMO. So you have to remember that there is an easy way to change the frequency or DNA of something, which is by sound. We used to bless food in religions, or we can sing to the food, or just when we eat, enjoy very much the food. If we sing to the food, what we are doing is to charging with my frequency the DNA of the food. Have you seen these images about how when you sing to the water, the pattern of the water changes? So that's what I mean. Well, also, the second one is breathing better. And breathing better, I mean by these 3, breathing at the same quantity of time, yeah, the 3 of them, and very deep from the, how do you call this, the diaphragm, not here above, not like this, but from very below, yeah. And the best thing is to try to, when I go breathing in, I count till 3. I hold the air 3 times, and I expose it 3 times. And from there, I add a number when I'm ready. 4 times, counting 5, till 9. So when you breathe till 9, it's like the most soft way of breathing, and then hold it, and very soft. That connects with the breathing of the universe, and also makes the air feed the blood. And the third one is higher, enlighten the frequency, which is laughing a lot. Yeah, laughing is the sound that makes you go higher in frequency. So they are very easy. Eat better, breathe better, laugh more. And also singing. What I want to do right now is a little bit of this with all of you. This is a small tool because you have to learn what every letter means, and there's a whole process to understand all this. But the most important thing is to feel it. So what we're going to do is, first of all, try to practice with all of them, yeah, and then we will go doing the same. But after that, when you already say the words and you are with your feet like this, yeah, if you want to stand up or just sitting, but very well firm the feet. So we start to breathe first, then the nasal sounds, and then the vowels. And after we do all this, I will tell you, you just sing in different levels what you feel, the vowels you feel. And the purpose of this is to talk to our body, soul and spirit. What we do with this is to create a vortex. From the core of our being, singing up and low, resounding with this. This vibration, nasal vibration, makes vibrate your pineal and hypophysis glands and helps to the connection of every cell of your body. So it's breathing, vibrating with all the body, and then focusing on the parts of the body. So bringing the frequency to every gland and every organ. This is like a way of talking with your body without any words, harmonizing the whole body. If you do it when you go to sleep, so you will see that suddenly it will feel like everything is vibrating properly. And when you accomplish that with yourself, then you can express more in your house, your town, your country, and beyond. So first of all, you concentrate in your body, the pains of your body, the illness you have, whatever you have in your body, then your family, then the culture, all the country and the regions and the planet after that. This is the basement for anything else. It's just basements. After that, you can add whatever you have, whatever you know, whatever technique, whatever knowledge, religion, thoughts, philosophy, whatever, you can add it to it.